Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads. And today it's time to talk about how to run ads on Facebook and on Google. And it's a good time to be discussing this because we have a lot of feedback and a lot of really powerful stories of how our clients are running ads on Facebook and converting those into both buyer leads and seller leads and actually getting business from it. So we're pretty excited. Now, I will just say real quickly right off the bat, if you scroll down our homepage, you'll notice that there's a lot more to our platform than just Facebook and Google ads, but that's an important part. We have a lot of print tools. We have a lot of email marketing tools. We have a very powerful open house marketing system. And you can scroll down and understand that we have PDF guides for you and we have landing pages for you. We can integrate to your CRM. One thing that's important here is this section that say AI text follow-up. This is an add-on to the platform, but I'm going to show you that our clients who are really consistently running ads, and I'm going to give you the formula of what's working. They are running ads and they're using our AI text follow-up to convert the leads to phone calls. Okay. So that's really the short thing that you want to be thinking of. Use Facebook ads because you're going to get a name, email, and phone number, and they're affordable leads, and you can go in from there and use either your own AI text follow-up. Maybe your CRM has that, or maybe you can text your own leads if you're not doing a whole lot of leads. But what I'm going to show you is a strategy that a number of our clients are using right now, and they're generating a good volume of leads, and they don't want to be working like texting all these leads, right? They're calling them as well, but many people are going to want to talk or are going to want to text before they talk. Let's talk about a few of the things that are out in the system right now. And I see people logging in right now. So I want to remind you that there is a button on the GoToMeeting chat panel, and one of those buttons has a paperclip on it. Please click that and you will see two documents. One is called Top Tools for More Listings. And if you're an agent who wants more listings, you definitely want to print this and be acting on this. But today's class is Facebook and Google. And so I'm going to read through these and then we'll talk about some real life applications. So, first of all, you're going to connect your Facebook ad account to our system, right? So that you'll be able to use our software to run these ads. And I think this is really a critical thing. If you've ever run ads on Facebook, you might not have had a successful experience with that. And that's because there are many buttons in there that you can click and you can basically make mistakes and waste your time and money. But our software, we're using Facebook software. And so we've already checked all the boxes that you needed to check. And so we're getting leads with name, email, and phone number every time, and time to buy and time to sell. So if you're running early stage listing ads like Just Listed, Open House, Active, you're going to get buyer leads. If you're running later stage listing ads like Pending, Under Contract, or Sold, you're going to get seller leads. Same listing, is just different stage, and the call to actions change. Now, we do have PDF guides and we do have landing pages. You can run ads on those as well and get different kinds of leads based on what the topics of those tools are. But we've got a lot of feedback of our clients who are focused on Facebook ads, just marketing listings. We're going to concentrate on that today, okay? Because we can see the results. And I think there are a lot of tools that you can run ads on. And what I'm going to concentrate on today is what we're seeing from a number of our clients who are focused on Facebook ads. And I want to tell you what they are doing so that you can ideally replicate it or get your model there once you can. So this is in our mastermind group. And there's always a lot of information here. There's a call here. Gordon Day put in kind of a nice little message here. This is a long-term client who is applying this Facebook ad strategy. And I want to point you to where you can see that right here. So this is our YouTube channel. And I'm going to send this. If somebody could send me a question, just the word question, I can send this to everybody right now. And if you're watching this and you can't type in the chat panel, then just go to our videos page And you will see a video over here that is basically says, master your Facebook ad strategy. And when you go in it, you'll notice that there's Gordon Day, there's Scott, and there's Yi talking about what Gordon has been doing. And Scott's been working with Gordon to help him run ads consistently. And they're basically running 2 to 3 ads every week. Okay. And these ads are on listings that are early stage. So it's just listed, open house, and active home. And that's all they're doing. He's also doing open houses. All right. And so there's a really important thing to know about open houses. And that is that our part of marketing an open house, we would certainly tell you to run an ad, but there are other tools that are going to help you market that, help you showcase kind of your value as an agent, and basically help you get more listings. So people like Gordon, and he talks about it in this call right here, they're actually doing 2 open houses a week, and they are running 2 to 3 ads every week. Okay. And so the ads are starting conversations. And if you watch his call, I thought it was really interesting. You hear it towards almost like 3/4 of the way through. One of the things he said is, my agents are telling me that their business is totally dried up. It's totally dead. And he said, but I am actually working through leads all the time because this process is generating so many leads. And you see here, there's a message here in our mastermind group from Anthony Bella. And he's saying, hey, I ran an ad on a Facebook ad. I got 31 leads for $1.72 each. And one of them is saying, I need to sell my home before I buy a home. And that's like a thing that everybody knows. There are plenty of people researching the market, becoming buyer leads, but they actually have to sell a home. And our tools really help you find those homeowners, even if they're responding to a home that's for sale. So again, I'm going to be a little bit repetitive here, but if you're running ads on homes that are early stage, you're going to find buyers for sure, and you're going to find listings as well. And so this is pretty good. And then also what Anthony is saying is their leads are flowing automatically into KV Core, and then they're using Mojo 3 phone dialer for that. I also want to point out here, which I think is let me search on Craig. So Craig has been working with a handful of agents. And again, this is one of the stories that are going to be relevant exactly to what we're talking about here. And he put some metrics here that I want to show you, right? So he's working with a handful of agents, and he is running ads. He's paying for ads on Facebook, and the agents are as well. Okay. So I can tell you, when this post was made in May 8th, I got an update on this, I think 2 to 3 days ago. And now we're at the end of the month, right? When I got the update, it was at the end of the month. And they basically spent $2,700, and they have 900 leads between them. Now I'm going to show you how these leads look. They have name, email, and phone number. So they are using our AI text follow-up to work the leads. And so we have this really awesome AI software. It's converting 11% of their leads to phone calls, right? And so they're working the leads in various ways. They're emailing them, they're calling them, things like that. But if you're getting a volume of leads, and obviously 900 leads is more than most single agents can afford to get, but that's what's going on. So you'll notice here, this is May 8th, the average cost per lead was $353 a lead. They kept going because this was on May 8th, and I got an update just a few days ago. Their average lead cost now is $302. Okay. And they run about $27,000 worth between all of these agents and Craig. And they have closed 4 people. I'm sorry, they closed 2 people. And yeah, they have 3 more pre-approved that are looking for homes. So the commission on this is definitely higher than the investment. Now, you might be a single agent. You may not have that kind of budget, but we definitely want you to know like how you can get there and how you can build up to that. So let's go into the system and talk about what exactly are these agents doing to run an ad, right? And we'll go over to the ads page. And as I mentioned, the first step is to connect your ad account. So when you're running an ad, it's going to charge your credit card over on your Facebook business page. it's going to say it's sponsored by your business page, right? Sponsored, whatever you call it, it's going to say it's sponsoring. And that's probably an important part, is that the branding is going to you. And when you run an ad, thousands of people see it, and you should be able to capture leads. So let's click on create a Facebook ad. And just to repeat, I do want to say you can run landing page ads, you can run PDF guide ads, but what we're seeing is our clients who are running listing ads on early stage listings like open house or just listed or active are having some awesome results. So we want to help you replicate those results. So I've got an open house here. We want to leave it on lead ads. And what this means, and I'll show you what that means, is that the lead is pre-populated from the person's profile who clicks on the ad. So I don't know how familiar you are with the platform, but there are over 200 tools for each of you. And some of them are in print and some of them are online and some of them are landing pages, things like that. And nothing is getting a name, phone number, and email as quickly as a Facebook ad, just the way that it is. Okay. And so you want to focus there if you want to find more people to talk to, right? So what I've done is I just click create an ad, and the ad is basically created. And if you're watching this call that I mentioned earlier with Gordon Day, you're going to see Scott show you how to maximize your ad to make sure it works well. And I definitely want to talk about that on this call, because there's just a way. And right here, you see this video called Facebook Ads Cheat Sheet. This is a 6-minute video that is really critical to making your ads work well. So I've actually already optimized it, but I want to show you what can happen. So you notice that I clicked on the create ad, I clicked listing ad, and then I hit an address. And the pictures kind of look great over here, right? Here's a picture of the front of the house and there's something in the inside. When you're taking photographs of a home, typically you're taking, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 photos, right? And you walk up to the house and you're shooting some in the front, right? And so you get like maybe 4 or 5 images of the front of the house. So if that's what happens, and that's how you're loading up the MLS, when it comes to our platform, you might see 4 or 5 4 images, in this case, all of the front of the house. And that's no good for you. So we want to make sure that you are tackling this part first. So you click over here to say change template. And that template is actually the best performing template of all of our templates. I think we give you like 20. This is the default one that you're set up with, and you should stick with this. But when you click this pencil up here, it says edit, this allows you to adjust these photos. So you see, I've got one here of the living room. I'm going to change this one over here, because you should always have a kitchen. People like to look at kitchen. So when I click that button on the top left, you can see here's the kitchen, right? So I'm going to pop that in there. And you want to just make sure that your ad has the best photos right up front. And then this one says there are 3 more pics, but you might actually have 20 more pics. And that's what makes that template work really well. Because if you've got an ad, and let's insert this and we'll say a word, you can see from the photos, like, oh, I get an idea of what the house looks like. And there might be a really compelling backyard shot. There could be a swimming pool. And you're telling me there are more pics. So I'm going to click on that. The other thing that Scott is saying, and you definitely want to keep in mind, you see this little color box right here? This is the color, that's the frame. There's kind of a gray line here, right? And that's here. And so you want to think about this you can think about it in terms of contrast. You don't want this to flow through the news feed on Facebook and people not recognize and just not even slow down. So if you change those colors, like I just did, it has a better contrast, right? This kind of red kind of ties in with that brown there, but it's just a bolder look. And what you're really trying to do is make people's eyes slow down and look at the ad. Okay. So I'm going to just apply that color scheme. I've changed the pictures a little bit, and we'll save. And that will push itself over on the previous page there. And then your ad is kind of ready to go. And while this seems like a little bit technical, this is actually really critical to getting the best results for your ads. Okay. And one of the things that should be obvious to everybody, you need good, high quality images. You don't want bad lighting. You want to make sure that this looks really professional. And then you have the color scheme, you got the right pictures to make that pop. Up here, we've already got some dynamic text. We're putting this together for you automatically. You don't really need to do much, but I do want to say this. There might be something like it's in a great school, right? And a lot of people move to that. So if you want to add something like that, you can add it right here. And that's what people are going to see when they get there. Now, one thing we want to talk about is there are a lot of you that have homes in like the South, right? In Florida, in Texas, in Arizona, where inventory is building. And definitely you might want to change and add a location. You don't want to put a lot of locations at once, though. But if, hey, yeah, people move here from Chicago because they want to get out of cold winters, that's how you do it. It's very easy to target another area. But you can also focus on just your area right there because you're going to be targeting, in this case, local people. And the thing that, I want to remind you, because we were looking at it in the mastermind group, is a lot of people who will see this ad already own a home. And you want to make sure that you're letting them know, because you might capture them as a buyer lead. And at that point, you find out a little bit later, they actually have a listing that they need to sell. So let's talk about the budget, because our default setting is $35. And that's $5 a day. Okay. You want to make sure that you leave it on lifetime. I've noticed that people will click on daily budget, and that means you're going to spend $35 a day, and that can be a lot of money real quickly. So lifetime budget means that's the max you're going to spend. And what you should know is when you're running an ad on a home that is for sale, like open house, just listed, or active, these leads on average cost about $3. In some markets, they're closer to $3.50. But if you divide 3 into 35, you'd expect 10 to 11 leads. What we're seeing, and we're seeing this from a lot of our clients, is that they are running ads, but they're putting a higher budget and they're getting better results. So if the default is $35, we really recommend that you change that to something like 50 or 75. We even have clients running $100 ads and $200 ads. This guy here, Craig, who was mentioning at the beginning of the call, all of their ads are $50. Okay. And this, what we're looking at, the results of generating 900 leads have happened in 3 months. And I don't know what you guys are doing for advertising, but is anybody here generating 900 leads in 3 months? Just go ahead and put it in the chat panel. I would love to hear about that. That's what Craig is doing. And that's what people like Gordon are doing on this call up here, right? They're putting in $50 or $100 an ad, and that increased budget is getting them more leads. And you have to think about it. If you leave it on 35 and you get 10 leads or 11 leads, if you converted one lead to any kind of deal, that would be a 10% conversion rate, which is way above the norm, which is like 1 to 3 to 5% conversion rate. So that's why you want to increase your lead volume. And you might say, hey, I'm going to do this at a higher rate, because you divide that by 3, you're going to expect a lot more leads. I will say this as well. We certainly have a lot of our clients they'll be helping people buy and sell homes. And sometimes they'll get a home that's like super awesome, right? It's a multi-million-dollar home. We had a client who had a home in like the suburbs north of Washington, D.C. And she said, I have a home now that's like worth $2 million. So this is really luxury. It's really beautiful. And I said, hey, you need to put more money on that, right? You need to spend like $100 or $200 because if you do that, you're going to get more leads from people who are looking at that kind of home. You're also letting many more people know, like thousands more people know that you work with property like that. And that's awesome for your branding. So the thing to think of when you're setting the budget is how many leads are you trying to get to, right? And so if we know how to do that, all we have to do is click create ad. I'm going to click on this button here just to show you why these ads are so powerful. This is the form that people see when they click the ad. It's over on the right here. It says, what's your time frame to buy? And there's some options. It's 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and then even just dreaming is an option. But if you go in the mastermind group, and I showed you that at the beginning of the call, there's an agent saying, yeah, this person said it was like a year out, but they're ready to buy right now. And that happens over and over, because if you put, I'm just dreaming, It's really to say, I really don't want to be called by you, but you got to work those leads anyway, because they're responding to these ads. Now, the second page is really where the money is. You see this form, it says full name, email, and phone number. This is when somebody clicks on the ad, this is what they're going to see. But their name, phone number, and email will already be there, pulled automatically from their profile. So nobody is typing anything in. And the key there is that's what makes these leads so actionable. Okay. Then it says, here's our policy and thank you. But the key is when you're using all of our tools, nothing is getting a name, phone number, and email as quickly as Facebook ads. And so these two calls here with Craig, and he's saying, hey, you know what, we're converting a bunch of these leads. They're also doing another thing, which we want to talk about, which is how do you convert? And so, yes, if you run one ad and you're working with, and you're capturing 10 or 11 leads, you should text them, you should call them, put a drip campaign, get an email to them, right? But when you're doing a volume of leads, because you're trying to convert them into business, you definitely want to be using some sort of AI text, a really powerful text follow-up. We have our own. So if you go into your account over to leads, there's a place to sign up for AI text. And what it's doing is asking simple questions back and forth. You can do it yourself, and if you got just a few leads, you can probably manage that. But if you're getting to 10, 20, 50, or 100 leads, you probably want to use our AI text to do that work for you. In Craig's case here, it's converting 11% of our leads. Over here with Gordon, he's using his own text from his own CRM. It's also AI text from his own CRM. And so we don't really know the metrics, but we definitely know if you watch that call, he actually said, it was a really interesting point. He said, look, my agents are telling me, and other agents, that it's totally dead. Their business is totally dead. And he said, but I'm generating so many leads from these ads that I'm working through them all week. I am working for multiple hours every week, working these leads and turning them into business. That's really the key that you want to think about, right? We all know that interest rates are high and the market is slow, but what we're showing you right here is what's working right now in today's market. Running early stage ads just like this, making sure your pictures are optimized, making sure that the color scheme is going to pop out, set the right budget. That's really key. And all of these people, both of them and many of our other clients, they're running 2 to 3 ads a week. And they're putting minimum $50 per ad. That's what Craig, who's generated 900 leads, is doing. $50 ads, 2 to 3 a week. Gordon, 2 to 3 ads every week. But Gordon's doing, sometimes they're $100 ads, right? Just depends on the home and what they're doing at that moment. You should probably be thinking of $50 ad budgets, right? And if you can, certainly you should definitely be doing 1 ad every week. But if you can get to 2, you're going to get a volume of leads that you can start working, and then you can start converting and use our AI text to help you do that. So that's the strategy that's going on today. And I do want to say that they are also combining it with our open house marketing. So we're going to keep going down the Facebook and Google path here, but both of these guys are holding open houses as well during the weekends. They're getting a lot of buyer leads and a lot of seller leads, and that's all they're doing. And they're creating a business with an ROI, right? That's becoming really consistent. So you want to probably be emulating that. And I think a good call to watch, which we talked about a few times, is right here. We put it up online a day ago, Master Your Facebook Ad Strategy and Follow Up. Check that out for sure. So now that we know how to run ads for homes that are for sale to get buyer leads, let's talk about the other kinds of ads that we can run. And I do a class every 2 weeks called Top Tools for More Listings. And I mentioned that there's a couple handouts involved here. So you can actually download Top Tools for More Listings right here. And there's a handout on Facebook and Google, right? So this will kind of list things out. And to get seller leads, one of the easiest ways is to run an ad on a home that's for sale or sold. So we'll go to create a listing ad, and instead of doing something that's for sale or open house like we just did, we're going to do something that's sold, right? We're going to leave it on lead ads because we like our leads to be pre-populated with name, email, and phone number, and we click create ad. And this one, it's actually not as complicated as the buyer side. Yes, you do want to have the right kitchen, or you want to have the right photographs. That's going to help. You could expand this a little bit. It's not critical, but you're letting more people know, maybe 20 miles instead of 15. But I do want you to know that the cost per lead is not $3 each here. The cost per lead is about $7 each. So if you're running an ad like this for $50, you would expect 7 leads, right? Spending 49 bucks. It runs for 7 days, and that's all you'd get. So you could increase your budget there. You're going to get more leads as well, but these are going to be people who want their free home value. Okay. So you're going to get their name, email, and phone number, and they can click and get their instant home value right there. If they don't, you might want to set that up for them. You'll have all that information in the lead when we send that to you. So that's how you do a just sold ad. And also, one thing about lead costs, when we say the average cost for a buyer lead is $3, or we say the average cost of a seller lead is $7, that's the average. And literally, you can run the same exact ad one day and run it again the next day and see that today they're charging me $2 and tomorrow they're charging me $10 a lead. If you see that, and Scott covers that in that call, if you see that happening, like you're getting charged $10 or $15 a lead, that's too much. So you need to kind of log in every morning and check these ads. And if you're getting charged too much, and you see here, it says cost per lead, 303, 590, 212. That's the cost per lead. And if that is above 5 or 6, you might want to stop the ad. You just turn it off right here. If it's $2, which is way below the average, then you might want to click the pencil and extend the time frame. So maybe have it run another week and add more budget, because now you're getting leads at $3, or maybe you're getting it at $5 on the seller side. So you just want to watch that, because Facebook, sometimes they just charge you way too much for a lead, and sometimes they give you a super awesome deal. When you see that awesome price, that low price on the cost per lead, like $212, extend that. You're going to get more leads for your money, and that's just a smart way to be thinking. So we can also run landing page ads. And so we actually have a lot of landing pages already created for you, like free home value, down payment assistance, new construction. You can customize these to work to your local market. You can also create your own home value landing pages. So I have one for Walnut Creek, which is right next door to me. It's a great neighborhood. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to leave it on lead ads because I like that. I like name, email, phone number, and I'm just going to click create ad. So this ad is basically telling you home values are changing and yours being affected. Click here to get your home value. So the one thing to say about this is, on the landing page when I created it, this is a picture of the big mall. This mall is in the center of Walnut Creek. 6 million people go there every year. So everybody in Walnut Creek knows this mall, and that's the fountain. So a good landmark can definitely help make these things work. Now, you would think that typing in Walnut Creek, California, and running the ad would be it, right? And that actually can work for some of you. But for people like me, where I am, this could not work very well. This can actually be a big waste. So let me show you why. If I type in Walnut Creek and just go look at it on a map, you'll notice that Walnut Creek is surrounded by many other towns. Okay. And there's a town, Lafayette, which is where I live. There is a town, Pleasant Hill, Concord. And when you do an ad that's saying it's a minimum 15-mile radius, what does that mean? This little white section here is Walnut Creek. There's 30,000 people. This is a great, beautiful community, good schools, nice homes. This is a 15-mile radius right around here. That's probably 1 million people who are going to see that ad that don't live in Walnut Creek. So that can be wasteful, and that sometimes it doesn't work the way that you want. And so there is a workaround to this, and this is only necessary when you are trying to run a home value ad for a particular town or development. You can actually go to companies like redx.com or remind.com or even Vulcan 7, ArchAgent, listsource.com, and they will sell you a list of homeowners with equity. So if you got like a number one farm market, you've got a number one target like Walnut Creek. If Walnut Creek was my key market, you definitely suggest that you go buy a list of those homeowners with more than 5 years equity. Okay. That way, you're not just doing a 15-mile radius of any random person that drove through that neighborhood. Because when you're running, hey, what is your home worth in Walnut Creek? You want to hit people with equity. That's going to make this thing work. So how do you do that? There's a button here that says create ad, and you can call it Walnut Creek homeowners. This list has to have 1,000 contacts in it. Okay. And it has to be a minimum. We have clients who have, we've got a team in Dallas. They have 3 lists of 10,000 homeowners each. And I know I've talked to people who are like, I really want to work this development. There's only 700 homes in it. If there are only 700 homes, get 300 other contacts, add them to the same spreadsheet, and just have them be adjacent. So you have a little bit of spillover from that area. But that list, if you make it 500, Facebook will not allow you to use it. Okay. And then you upload it. It has to look like this. When you buy that list, there's probably going to be 20 to 30 columns of data, right? Like square footage and bedrooms and this and that. Save that for another reason. But when you're uploading it to Facebook, it has to have these headings, which are right here, and these columns. Okay. And then you upload it and you import it. And this will live in your Facebook account so that when you run that ad for Walnut Creek, or let's just go do that real quickly again. Instead of running and saying a 15-mile radius of Walnut Creek, you're going to say, I want to hit the homeowners in Walnut Creek, right? Now, let's see. I'll show you where to do that. So normally you would put in Walnut Creek up here, but you actually can retarget here, custom audiences. You type in the name of your audience. It's visible there. You create ad. And that tells Facebook, run that ad, which is about Walnut Creek, to those people that have equity in Walnut Creek. You can do this in multiple areas, but it's always best to start off with one. So let's go back to the system and look at the other kind of Facebook ads we can run. So we've got PDF guides, right? Each of you has 80 PDF guides, 40 for buyers and 40 for sellers. And you can take this. I want to remind you that we started the call talking about one of the most effective ways of getting buyers and sellers, and that's running ads on listings. Just listed, open house, active listings, or sold listings or pending, right? You're going to get lower cost leads at a higher volume. But if you don't have any lead or any listings, you can't borrow anything like that, well, then you've got a bunch of PDF guides. And you can say, hey, I want to do something on a PDF guide on 12 mistakes to avoid. You just click create ad. We're going to leave lead ads because we like name, email, and phone number. These leads cost more. These leads can often be anywhere from $7 to $10 each. Now, I can just target Walnut Creek, and it's not really critical now that I am worried about the homeowners in Walnut Creek, because now this can spill over into Lafayette and into Concord and Alamo. There's plenty of homeowners there, and this might be relevant to them too. So I don't have to worry about so much of that custom audience because this is not speaking to that area. But these leads on average cost about $10 each. You'll notice that I have a $50 budget. Divide 10 into 50, and you would expect about 5 leads with name, email, and phone number. Okay, that's how that works. Now, there are 40 PDF guides for buyers, and there are 40 for sellers. Your branding, your color scheme, your headshot, your contact information are on every page of every one of these documents. If you go over here to PDF guides, you can download them yourself. You can look at them, read them, and decide which ones you want to use. So that's the Facebook side of things, right? You now know you can run ads, and you can see that we've got a lot of feedback recently of people focused just on early stage ads, not even the sold ones, because they know that these leads actually can become seller leads as well. They're working their leads, right? So that would be running ads on homes, again, that are just listed, open house, and active. And that's what our clients are focusing on right now. Now, I also want to talk about Google. And Google is the number one website in the country. So when we talk about Facebook, there are a lot of people on Facebook, right? But the number one website in the country for forms user. Sorry. So the number one website in the country is actually this one. And 86% of all questions asked on the internet are asked right here. It might be like, hey, where do I get new tires for my car? Where can I buy a martini? How do I sell my home? What does it cost to sell my home? What are the taxes? All those questions of how to sell a home are going to happen 86% of the time on Google. And we actually, if you go in the mastermind group, you will see that one of our clients said, hey, I took this PDF guide, 12 mistakes to avoid, and I ran an ad on, we're in the Facebook side. So we want to do this through Google. We want to run a PDF guide on Google. We don't have it here. And that basically pushes it right there on Google. People have to fill out the form. And there is a form. Let's go over there and look at the PDF guide so you can see this. When they click on the ad on Google, we drive them to a landing page. And on that page, it says, hey, you can download this for free. Just give us your contact information. So that's how it works, right? It's like you run an ad on Google. All the keywords are there. All the text is there. Everything that you needed to have in the text to make that ad work, it's already designed for you, right? And so you want to make sure that you are, let's see, this is the landing page. You want to make sure that you got that done correctly so that when they click on it, they land here, they can give you their information and download it right there. This is a high quality lead, right? When we're running an ad on Facebook, people spend a lot of time on Facebook every day. They're looking at what their friends are doing. They're looking what they're eating. They're looking at the things they follow. But when they go to Google, they actually have a question and they're looking for an answer. And if they like your answer and they click and they give this information, this is a high intent and high quality lead. It's also a more expensive lead. Google is the number one website in the country and they charge accordingly. So when you're running, like, remember the home value ad I did like on Walnut Creek? Those leads in Dallas, Texas cost $30 each. Okay. Not 30. And those kinds of leads in Pennsylvania cost in the 20s, in Utah, 17. And the price is different all over the country. So to run ads on Google, definitely we recommend that because it's the number one website. So if you're really in the listing side of the business and you're focused on that, you already know that Google is really important. You need to have a strategy. We just make it very easy for you to run ads on landing pages, specifically for home value, and also for the PDF guides. And there, like I said, there are 40 of these PDF guides. You don't have to use all of them. There might be a handful that you really like to go out with over and over, but you should have something out there to be working on the number one website in the country. So that's the story. I want to go back to this flyer and see if there are any questions. This download is, if you click on the paperclip, and let's go see here. I see a question. If you click on the paperclip, you're going to see, oh yeah. Oh, okay. So Yi is saying, when I was talking about this here, you can see that it says 2,000. I think I mistakenly said, I said they spent 27,000. They spent $2,700 to get 900 leads as of this week, which that makes sense. And so the average cost, as I was saying, it's $302 per lead, which is awesome. And the more you're putting budget into Facebook, the more it learns about your target market, learns what's working, and your lead cost tends to go down. The longer you're running ads, that's what's going to bring your lead cost down. So I kind of want to repeat this because this model, what I'm showing you here with Craig, and also what we're talking about over here, I don't want you to forget that. This call here, which says master your Facebook ad strategy. These people are running 2 to 3 ads every week. They're spending somewhere between $50 and $100 on each ad. And they're getting, obviously, a good volume of leads. Both of them are using AI text follow-up to work those leads as well as working in themselves. So definitely think about that. You may not obviously have the budget to spend that kind of monthly budget on ads, but get there, right? You think of, it's different if you're trying to just market a home and you're going to sell a home through our platform. But if you're then run an ad and use the flyers and use our automation and use our print tools and all the other things to market a listing. But if you're somebody that wants to double your business or grow your business or even triple, we've had clients grow their business tremendously with our platform, you're going to need to focus on the Facebook side of things to have more people to talk to, more names, emails, and phone numbers. Nothing is going to get phone numbers as fast as a Facebook ad. So are there any other questions? And I'm going to go back to this flyer here just to remind you. You're connecting your own Facebook account. You're charging your credit card on your Facebook page. And we're not taking any percentage of that. Like you put in $50 ad budget, that's being charged 100% on your Facebook credit card. Whenever you're running an ad, whether you're spending 35 or 100, it's minimally going to be seen by 2,000 people. And with that, even if you're putting 100, it's going to be seen by 3,000 to 5,000 people. And you got to ask yourself, who is seeing your business page that many times, right? And so anyway, when you're running them on early stage ads like coming soon, just listed, active, and open houses, you're getting buyers. Later stage ones like pending and under contract. And I didn't mention that, but let's go look at that real quickly. We'll look at it in a moment. You're going to get seller leads, and often they are lower cost seller leads than the just sold. Then of course you can run PDF guides and landing pages. We looked at that. You can create a custom audience. You can target like homeowners with equity. This is great stuff to do. On Google, you see here, it's the #1 website, high quality listings, high listing leads, high intent. We don't really recommend using Google to get buyer leads because it's a slam dunk with our Facebook ad software. But if you need listings, that is definitely a place where you need to be concentrating. I'm going to show you one thing, and I got Yi on the call, so she's reminding me to tell you something here, which I'll tell you in just a moment. I showed you how to run an ad on a listing that's sold, right? And I told you that lead cost is actually about $7 each. You can also run an ad on homes that are pending or under contract. And it's worth testing because we can see that sometimes the lead cost is dirt cheap. Okay. So this home, you see the text up on the right. It says, hey, this home's under contract. It's going to close soon. It's going to affect your home value. Okay. So click here to get your home value. That's what it's about. Just like the sold one, just the wording's a little bit different. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just click create ad. But I think it's because when you're using a term like pending or under contract, not many agents are doing that. So you're not competing against many agents. And we've seen these leads come in, which are seller leads, even below $3 each. Okay. So normally a buyer lead is $3 each, and normally a sold lead is $7 each. But here it can actually be $3, $4, $2.80. We see really low cost seller leads. What you're trying to get to with Facebook ads are name, email, and phone number of home buyers and home sellers. And that's it. And so here you're directly going for home sellers. So Yi mentioned something that, Yi is repeating over here. You need to watch this call. It says master your Facebook and ad strategy. And there's a couple things that are highlights in there. I mentioned a couple earlier, and it's funny. He says in this call, and Scott says, he told this is Gordon Day, and Gordon Day used to have a Keller Williams office in Pensacola. And that's when I first launched their office. And that was probably 14 or 15 years ago. And I think it was Keller Williams. Yeah. And back then when we sold them back then, he goes, I used to spend $5,000 a month on marketing, on all these things. And now I dropped it down to 500, and we have been taking market share from the big national brands. That was a discussion 14 years ago. And if you watch this call, Gordon's saying the exact same thing. He's, I was paying for this and that. And now I boiled it all down to my CRM and your platform here running your ads. And that's where all of us in this industry, there are more stories and shiny objects that are going to distract you 3 to 5 times a day. And at least, and what he is saying there, and I think everybody has to think about, is the statement I'm telling you where he says, I used to spend 5 and now I'm only spending like 500 instead of 5,000. That has happened twice with that same man right there, Gordon Day. And we were a fan to work with him because we've known him forever, right? We've known him since we started the company, and he was one of our earliest clients. And a guy who owns his own office is going to get obviously distracted, just like every one of you agents here. So the point is, really, if you are, we can see from our clients telling us right now, if you're running 2 to 3 ads just on early stage listings, like I've shown you today, and you are working open houses, you can borrow listings. You can borrow listings to run ads. You can borrow listings to hold open houses. These people are doing just that. They're doing like 2, even 4 open houses a weekend and running 2 to 3 ads every week. the volume of leads, both buyer and seller, from those activities is growing their business right now in this ridiculous market. Do you have any questions? Because that's the end of my story for today. I appreciate you being here with me. These pages, you can access them all over here on the marketing calendar. So you go to the marketing calendar, there's a tab here called resources, and definitely get on our YouTube channel and spend some time to understand everything we have. I've been pointing a few calls that I think you should watch it. If you're on Instagram, follow us there. Scott has some really cool videos on YouTube and on Instagram that are 1 minute long. Today, you've hung out with me for 50 minutes, and I appreciate that. But we get so much feedback from our clients, and Scott boils that down into 1 minute. You can see those on Instagram. You can see them on our shorts on YouTube. I highly recommend it because we're getting somebody will say, hey, I just got a bunch of leads doing this, or I just got a listing doing this. So we tell that story. We go show you how to do it in 1 minute, and you can do it yourself. Now, also click this button to get in our mastermind group. I've shown you this. This is where Scott and I talk about what's going on from a technology standpoint. It's also where our clients are saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Actually, Gordon yesterday put in a kind of a nice message there of what he's been doing. And we looked at this earlier. Craig is there. I'll show you something. I don't see any questions, but I'll share something with you that I haven't talked about in a while. So I set up the team accounts and office accounts around the country, and the owners are always trying to get their agents to use the system and get in there and get value, right? And so Brian here is from LPT, and Brian came in our mastermind group and said, hey, I want to share with everybody that we're running ads on sold properties. And this is actually last year, right? This is last year. So what I've been showing you with Craig and with Gordon are just in the past few days. But this is last year over in Texas. And he actually it was really cool to put a video here. And what he is saying is, hey, I've been running ads on this one home in Conroe, Texas, and they generated 114 buyer leads, just like, the other. So just one listing, 114 buyer leads. They converted 4 of those leads into purchases. And then he said, then we flipped it to sold, which you can't see it because it's blurry here, but we converted it to sold, and we ran one ad, and we get one $4 lead. They have their own AI text follow-up in their CRM. And that CRM started texting them that morning, and they were able to transfer it to a phone call in the late morning. And they booked a 4 p.m. appointment with that person who wants to sell a home for $400 and buy another one for $450, right? From one $4 lead. This guy's he's in Texas. He's with LPT. And they just keep going with this, right? They just keep working it. And I think the reason why I want to show you that is that's just one ad. It doesn't work like that all the time, but they ran multiple ads to get 114 leads, right? They were probably running $50 or $100 ads. And so you can learn about that in the mastermind group. If you want to join our live calls, lead gen webinars, if you click on live webinars here, you can sign up for those classes, just like we're doing today. If you want to watch the recordings, they're all on our YouTube channel. So I don't see any more questions. So again, thanks for hanging out with me. This is recorded, and this will be on the YouTube channel probably tomorrow. So if you have questions, definitely, we have a great support team down here. If you want our help looking at ads, you can let Scott or myself know. We definitely want to make sure you're able to utilize this and maximize it and get some awesome results. We see it happening with many of our clients. We want to see that happening with you as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.